Hi, my name is Peter Armstrong, and I am a pastor here in New York City at a church that is just starting. It's called Dwell Church. And I've lived in Manhattan for about 14 months now, and along with my wife Lily and our cat, and we really love it here. The question that you had for me to start things off is how did we end up in New York City after growing up on the West Coast? And that's kind of a long story. Back a few years ago, I had a friend who moved here to New York City to work with bands and work with musicians and work with clubs. And he had all these incredible stories of New York City for me. And basically, God planted the seed in me to do ministry in New York City through those conversations, and then through a series of several years of bringing us along and encouraging us and opening doors for us. Um, God opened the door for us to move here in the summer of 20. So we packed up all of our things and moved across the country, and God has just really provided for us since then with a great ministry and with a wonderful apartment and a great job for Lily as well. So we're here on the East Coast now. And another question you had was, how is daily life in New York City different than in Washington State? And I would say that the first couple things I think of are the fact that we don't have a car, and the fact that it's such a huge city and a really diverse city. So first of all, growing up in Washington State and growing up in more of a suburban environment, you pretty much get used to driving your car everywhere. If you want to go to the grocery store, you hop in your car, you drive down there. If you want to go to school, you hop in your car and drive down there. If you want to do anything, you just hop on the highway. Well, it's very different in New York City. Everyone just walks out of their apartment building and walks to work, or rides their bike to work, or walks to the train station and takes the subway to work or to school or wherever they need to go. And it's a much more, it's just an environment where you don't really need a car. You're just on your feet most of the time. You don't need a car, you just need a good pair of shoes and maybe a bus ticket or a train ticket. So that's a big thing that's really different. And if you think about all the time that you spend in your car, usually at least a couple hours a day, it really makes a big difference to never really set foot in a car, but to take public transportation everywhere. The second thing I would think of is that New York City is much more dense and diverse than any other place I've lived. It's dense, everybody's in a really tight-knit environment. We live in large apartment buildings that are really tall and have lots and lots of people living in them. So that's what dense means. A lot of people living in a really small area. I think the largest city in Washington State is about 500,000 people, 500,000 people in Seattle, and New York City is 16 times the size of Seattle. So take 16 Seattles and put them all together. It has over 8 million people just living in the 15 or 20 miles around my office right now are 8 million people, and more people than that even working in New York City every day, so coming in every day, Monday through Friday. And also, there's an element of diversity there. I grew up, in a pretty diverse environment, and Washington State is pretty diverse with a lot of people that are coming from Asia, and a lot of people that are coming from Hispanic backgrounds as well. But here in New York City, we have people from all over the world that are constantly moving to New York City to start a new life in this country. So you have people from the Caribbean, you have lots of people from Europe, you have lots of people from Australia, you have lots and lots of people from China and Japan and Korea. You really have people from all over the world, and New York has this ability to attract people from all over the world. And a lot of those people are Christians. They're our brothers and sisters in Christ, but a lot of them are from other religious backgrounds or no backgrounds at all. And so we have to figure out how to work together and communicate the gospel of Jesus, the good news about Jesus, to all these different types of people, and in different languages with different examples and different cultures. So that's a really big thing about how daily life is different in New York. Also wanted to share with you a few things about my ministry. It's called Dwell Church, And right now we have about 30 people on board. There's about 40 people that have come to visit, but I'd say 25 or 30 of them are on board and committed to what we're doing. And we meet every Sunday night in my apartment for a meal, for worship, for Bible study, and for visioning what this new church is going to look like. We're very committed to our neighborhood, which is an area called the Bowery, which is an old thoroughfare that goes through New York. People have been using the Bowery to travel for thousands of years, but Western people, Dutch people, and English people and Americans have been walking on it for 400 years. And it's an area that it has a lot of very wealthy people, but also a lot of very poor people and people that are struggling with different issues like alcohol and drugs. And so we are reaching out to them with the good news about Jesus, how he can free them from their addictions, and how he can give them the abundant life that they've always been looking for. So that's what our church is all about. We get out in the neighborhood a lot and we serve people. We work with homeless teenagers. We work with drug addicts and alcoholics. But we also serve people that have good jobs but don't have any hope, that have no hope of salvation in Jesus or hope for their daily life. And I would say that is really the biggest thing for us. And sort of my closing remarks is that the stories of hope are really incredible here in New York. We have seen many people come to New York to seek out their fortune, maybe to live here move here from all over the world, or their job transferred here, or they're working in a field that New York is famous for, such as Wall Street, the financial industry, many law firms and large corporations, or the music and arts community that are here. And people think, well, I'm moving to New York to work on Wall Street, or to work on Broadway, or to go to Columbia for graduate school. And then they end up meeting Jesus through that and replacing their dream of, their sometimes selfish dream of making a lot of money for themselves, or seeking out fame for just itself, with Jesus' dreams for their life and with Jesus' hopes for them. And they can still fulfill their dreams in that context of knowing Jesus and putting him at the center of their life. And that is what gives me hope. That's what gets me out of bed in the morning, is to see these wonderful people meet Jesus and come to know him. So thank you. Keep in touch. And I hope you enjoyed this little video lesson from New York City.